So yes, the job for today is the hubs. So I want to try and make a start at putting the hubs and the bushes and bearings and everything back into these to get these built up, so that basically all of these boxes and stuff down here, they're literally just filled with parts for them hubs. So if I can get them built up out the way, I can stick them on a bench and it's all cleaned. Gives me a bit more floor space then for building up other bits and pieces. So I'm going to crack on. I'm waffling. So the first things I need to be doing with these hubs are taking out all the bungs and stuff from the powder coaters, because they are just like literally hidden everywhere, and get this tape off and see what the condition of the inside of these is like. I did ask them not to blast inside it, which I'm pretty sure they've not done, but I just want to double check before I start pressing bearings in. And as you can see inside there's no shot blasting been happening, but there is a load of residue of grit that's in there. There is a bit of blasting that's happened to that surface, but it's only minimal. But inside there you can see on that face, especially around here, there's a lot of grit and dirt on there that I don't want getting in bearings, so I just need to give them a bit of a clean up and just make sure that everything's okay. So the best way to get rid of that crud that's in there, a little bit of a wire brush in my drill and go for it. That's that cleaned out, no more grit in there, and inside this little C-channel groove I've cleaned all that out too, so there's no more grit inside there. Happy with that. So next thing is I need to go back through some of my videos of the reversal. So I need to remember how I took them apart as to how to put them back together again, because I can't remember off the top of my head. So I'm going to get all the bits out that I think I need and have a look at the videos and then go for it from there. So now Toyota, in their genius, because I couldn't remember where these are the handbrake part of the rear hubs. So this is what the handbrake system attaches to, all bolts up to. I was like, now which side does that go to? But let me find it again. It's very faint. There it is. Let me see if I can find it on the camera. So just where my thumb is there, if I get the shadow right, you can just make out an R. The left hand side's a little bit easier to see, but on the hub there's also an R. See, genius. Know which one goes on where now. So I remember that this was the last bit that came off, so obviously it's the first thing to go back on. But where I've painted that lug, as you can see, there's not a lot of paint on it, but there's enough that it's an interference fit with this hole in which it slots into. So I dropped this the other day, can you see? I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to have to paint it. So yeah, so that needs to slot into there in order to start building these back up. So that's the paint removed from there. Scratched it a little bit, but you'll never notice once it's put on. So I've just put a little bit of grease on there, tiny bit of grease inside there. That's just to stop it from binding and the two surfaces rusting together, because it's plain metal to plain metal, because it was a pig to get apart when I took it apart. So I was going to fire that together and we'll see what's next. So next is the main bolt. So I'm just going to get the US Pro impact driver out. So that's a H14 bolt going back in. Yes, I know it's an old bolt, but it's all I've got. And believe it or not, these bolts are ridiculously expensive, so I'm going to replace and reuse where I can, because I think for that bolt it's about 15 quid. So screw that, it's alright, it's going back in. And like most things, when I order something, I tend to order something wrong at some point. So these were supposed to be the bolts for these. So there's one there and there's one here, which just holds this metal plate to the hub along with the big bolt I just put in. So I thought that these were them, because they've been tucked away in that box for so long now. I just thought, alright, sorted, I'll get round to that. But no, they are in fact wheel bolts, lug bolts. So they are totally the wrong bolts. You look at a schematic drawing, you think you're looking at the right line, and obviously not. So unfortunately I've got to go back in with the old hardware but luckily these aren't too bad. They've still got plenty of nickel coating on them, so they're good to go. They just don't look that nice, but you're never going to see them because they're going to be tucked away behind a wheel for eternity. So let's get these back in. So I've decided to just lay everything out on the bench in order-ish as to how it's going to have to go back into this hub. I think I've got it figured. So I've got the main hub there. So this needs placing into the press this way up. And then the bearing gets pressed into there. And then one of them dust seals goes on the top, and then one of them goes underneath, which can be fitted afterwards. But the dust seal here that needs to go on top of there needs to go on first before you put the hub into the centre of the bearing, if that makes sense, because obviously you can't put that dust seal on once that hub's in because it won't fit over that hub. So I'm pretty sure that's the build sequence. So I'm just going to double check everything and then I'll make sure that it's right. So I'm going to get the other hub out now, the other knuckle, sorry, get that cleaned up ready, and then it's just a case then of throwing all of the hubs, bearings and stuff in it in one go so I can do them all at the same time. So yeah, that's about as far as I'm going to get now, because again I only get an hour each day. So yeah, I'm going to crack on hopefully over the next few days and try and get them done, and I'll keep you updated. So see you soon. Bye.